silver sky and little pools by shuttered signs. A paper cup keeps both my hands. The night is cool but not unkind. A bicycle chain clicks far away. A window laughs and fades to hush. The city rinsed its tired face clean and left this quiet after rush. I thought the dark would feel too wide, but something soft is in the air. Like all the noise that chased the day dissolved and left me standing there. And I can breathe a little slower now. Let my shoulders drop, let the hour pass. There's warmth hiding in the smallest things, in yellow lamps and broken glass. No one calls my name tonight, no one asks me where I've been. Still the street feels close somehow, like it already knows me in. The corner store hums low and bright. A cat slips under rusted rail. The smell of wet concrete and breadcrumbs drifting with the cooler gale. I walk as if I've nowhere to, no race to win, no role to play. Just keeping company with steps and what the rain forgot to say. I used to fear the empty blocks, the silence after people part. But every quiet break tonight keeps a small fire in its heart. And I can breathe a little slower now. Let my shoulders drop, let the hour pass. There's warmth hiding in the smallest things, in yellow lamps and broken glass. No one calls my name tonight, no one asks me where I've been. Still the street feels close somehow, like it already knows me in. Maybe peace is not a grand event. Maybe it is shoes on a damp road. Maybe it is light on a handrail. Maybe it is carrying less load. Maybe healing doesn't make a sound. Maybe it just settles in the skin like steam that leaves a cup at midnight, like a calm you slowly wander in. So I keep walking at this patient pace through the shine the weather leaves behind. Late spring cold around my sleeves and an easier rhythm in my mind. Nothing changed and everything did. That's the strangest little kind of grace. A softened world after the storm, and my heart finally keeping pace. Blue and red on blackened stone. Traffic sings in liquid lines. Every puddle keeps a second city, made of signs and borrowed light. Someone drags a chair inside. Someone kills a buzzing fan. But the colors on the ground keep moving long after everyone ran. The hour says go home, go rest, but the street has one more thing to show. The shine beneath my tired shoes feels more awake than I do. These reflections never really close their eyes. They shimmer when the sidewalks empty out. They carry every late night wish, every almost every doubt. And I watch them flicker at my feet like they're spelling something I can't read. Still I stay another minute here for all this restless glow I need. could sleep and think of how some nights refuse to let your lonely thoughts leave. It's strange how color can feel warm even when the air turns thin. How a borrowed kind of brightness can still invite your spirit in. These reflections never really close their eyes. They shimmer when the sidewalks empty out. They carry every late night wish, almost every doubt. And I watch them flicker at my feet like they're spilling something I can't read. Still I stay another minute here for all this restless glow I need. If I were water on this street, would I hold the whole town too? All its past and shapes and colors, all the people I once knew. Would I keep them for a second before the next step broke me through? Would I still return to stillness? Would I still return to blue? So let the signs keep humming low, let the mirrored colors breathe. I don't need the world to answer, I just need it not to leave. For a while the night stays open, for a while I'm not alone, watching sleepless little oceans glow beneath the city's bones. There's a light still on 2 doors down, where the glass is warm with haze. The smell of butter, yeast and sugar meets the coolness on the lane. I stand beneath the narrow awning, fog escaping from the vent. And for a second all my worries lose their shape and sharp intent. Someone inside is stacking trays, someone hums and counts the change, and something in that simple scene makes the whole night feel less strange. Maybe comfort is a little ordinary, a small gold room on a damp street bend, a soft lit counter, tired hands, a loaf that rises by the end. Hope is not dramatic, maybe it wears flower on its sleeve, maybe it waits behind warm windows for the ones who still believe. The menu board is half wiped clean, the chairs are turned but not all set. A radio plays from the back room low enough to almost forget. I buy the last sweet roll they have, hold the paper to my chest. The rain is gone, the clouds have thinned, and even breathing feels like rest. I never knew how much I needed a place that smelled like starting over, a room that asked for nothing of me except to stay a little longer. Maybe comfort is a little ordinary, a small gold room on a damp street bend, quietly rescue a whole day. So I carry home that paper bag like a lantern in the dark, with sugar on my fingertips and something settled in my heart. Not every prayer needs thunder, not every answer breaks the sky. Sometimes it's bread and amber lighting, and the reason you don't cry. Drops keep tracing down the glass, soft and crooked one by one. The desk lamp pulls across the page. The room feels smaller in a good way. The radiator clicks and sighs. My pen taps twice, then stops again. Some nights don't ask for progress, only that you sit with them. I used to call this wasted time, the kind that slips and leaves no proof. But now I know not every hour was ever meant to be improved. So let it be a quiet kind of evening. Let the page stay half unread. Let the city blur beyond the pain, and the thoughts untangle in my head. I don't need a grand conclusion, I don't need to force the line. I just need the world to soften for a little while tonight. The droplets gather at the frame, then disappear below the sill. A car passes with a distant hush, then everything grows still. I pull my sleeves over my hands, lean back into the wooden chair. The night outside is cool and pale, the room inside is amber air. There is mercy in a slower pulse, and not becoming all at once, and letting silence keep the room without trying to outrun it. So let it be a quiet kind of evening. Let the page stay half unread. Let the city blur beyond the pain, and the thoughts untangle in my head. I don't need a grand conclusion, I don't need to force the line. I just need the world to soften for a little while tonight. Some healing sounds like nothing, just the drip against the frame, just the hum beneath the floorboards, just the knock calling your own name. Some peace arrives unnoticed, like fog on a distant light, and stays because you stop demanding that it prove itself tonight. So I'll keep the lamp on low a while, and let the wet glass write its tune. Late spring cool against the window, soft gold folding through the room. No ending here, just gentler breathing. No answer, just a kinder mind, and that is more than enough for this unhurried slice of time. The lane bends where the old walls lean, and every stone shines rust and gold. A lamp above the grocery door turns chill night air a little warm. Water gathers in the grooves between the bricks beneath my feet, like every step is crossing over a memory and a city street. It's not the kind of beauty that makes a crowd stop and stare. It's the kind that waits in corners till the right heart wanders there. Everything looks softer in this color. Every crack becomes a line of grace. The weather leaves a glassy finish on this narrow breathing place. And I don't feel so lost tonight, walking through this copper glow, as if the road has held my worries long enough to let them go. Laundry sways on iron bars, a scooter's parked by peeling paint. A radio behind the wall keeps drifting in and growing faint. The wind is cool but not severe, it only lifts the edge of sound. And in that low unfinished hush, I feel my heartbeat coming down. No miracle, no revelation, just a street that caught the light and somehow gave it back to me as something steady, something right. Everything looks softer in this color. Every crack becomes a line of grace. The weather leaves a glassy finish on this narrow breathing place. And I don't feel so lost tonight, walking through this copper glow, as if the road has held my worries long enough to let them go. I've spent so long chasing brightness that arrives too hard, too fast. Maybe what I needed all along was a low lamp built to last, a color closer to forgiveness than to fire or to fame, something warm enough to gather me without asking me to change. So I move slow beside these walls while the puddles take the sky. Late spring shiver on my neck, and easier thoughts passing by. The night is plain, the night is lovely, the kind that doesn't need applause, just wet bricks, a patient lantern, and a heart released because automatic doors breathe open, cold air chimes, fluorescent hum, stacked drinks shining in a row like tiny moons for anyone. A clerk in headphones scans in rhythm, plastic bag receipt, soft nod. Nothing holy, nothing grand, still it feels enough to call kind. I came in only for a drink and maybe to stand in the light, but now the aisle and humming fridge are holding me a little longer tonight. There's a comfort in the everyday, in bright white shells and this place stayed lit for me. Umbrellas drip beside the door, motorbikes shine under signs. Outside the road is dark and slick inside. The clocks are calm and kind. I take a can of coffee black, a triangle sandwich from the back. The clerk says have a quiet night, and I nearly take that line to heart. How strange that ordinary words can meet you right where you've been worn. No rescue scene, no violence, just a human voice and moving on. There's a comfort in the everyday, in bright white shelves and warmed up food, and seeing life continue simply after rain and changing moods. And I don't need to say a thing, I just pay and breathe and leave a little less alone somehow, because this place stayed lit for me. Maybe being known is overrated, maybe being held is enough. By a late hour, little routine, by small uncinematic stuff, by the hiss of a machine, by the barcode's gentle beat, by proof the world keeps tending to itself, even when your thoughts run deep. So I step back into the street, cup warming both my hands again. The city cool against my face, but easier now than it had been. No grand cure, no life rewritten, still the night turns less severe, thanks to a bright square in the dark, and the fact that it was here. Bench is wet, so I just stand beneath the faded route display. A timetable with curling tape keeps promising a later way. My jacket holds the leftover chill of weather not quite gone from spring. The road is empty for a block, except for wires that softly sing. There's something honest in a place built only for the in-between. Not home, not where you're headed next, just where your thoughts get seen. I wait with the cooling air around me and let the silence settle right. No need to fix what can't be fixed, no need to name this kind of night. I'm just a figure by the roadside, breathing where the buses turn, watching windows in the distance glow and vanish, glow and burn. A paper ad peels from the post, a moth keeps circling the lamp. The puddles near the curb are dark, the painted lines are still half damp. I check the time, then put it back. There's nowhere else I have to be. This pause I didn't plan to take has started sounding good to me. I spend so much of life in motion, forgetting stillness has a use, that waiting is not always failure. Sometimes it's a kind of truth. I wait with the cooling air around me and let the silence settle right. No need to fix what can't be fixed, no need to name this kind of night. I'm just a figure by the roadside, breathing where the buses turn, watching windows in the distance glow and vanish, glow and burn. If the ride is late, let it be late. If the answer important changes happen while you stand unseen. So I keep space beside my heartbeat, for the road, the post, the breeze, for the late spring cool that brushes past the backs of all the leaves. And when the bus comes, I will board it, but not before I've learned this much. Even waiting in a dim lit place can feel like a gentle touch. White stripes stretching through the block hold the last of evening rain. Streetlights silver every mark till the whole road looks half awake. The signal counts in steady red, then green, then empty once again. I cross alone with measured steps, like rhythm finding me instead. The city's not asleep tonight, just quieter, cleaner at the seams. And every surface cooling down makes room for simpler dreams. I like this part where things are clearing, where the water starts to lift, where the road keeps all its shine, but the weather starts to shift. It feels like thought made visible, like worry easing out of view. A slow return to level ground, a signal blinking me back through. The scent of leaves and engine heat mixes under sodium gold. A cyclist passes, jacket damp, a newspaper stand folds. I hear my shoes against the paint, a crisp and careful little beat. And for a moment all my plans become as simple as my feet. Forward doesn't have to thunder, it can whisper, it can dry. It can happen in a crossing under an almost clear sky. I like this part where things are clearing, where the water starts to lift, where the road keeps all its shine, but the weather starts to shift. It feels like thought made visible, like worry easing out of view. A slow return to level ground, a signal blinking me back through. How many times have I mistaken loud for real and fast for right, when healing was this small emotion measured by an amber light? A road not fully dry yet, but no longer drowning too. A body moving toward the curb, a self returning into view. So let the stripes reflect the lamps, let the countdown numbers fade. I am not behind, just crossing through the life the weather made. Late spring chill against my knuckles, calm arranging what I knew in one clear block beneath the sky that lets me make it through. Turning silver blue, stacked machines and humming rows, a basket left beside a chair, a shirt sleeve swaying as it goes. Soap and rain and heated dust make a strangely tender air. I sit beneath the dryer vent and watch page, clean circles everywhere. There's comfort in repetition and things that spin and then come still, and proof that what gets soaked in heavy can come back warm if you wait long enough. Here in the glow of this small backstreet room, the world feels manageable again. Socks and coins and folding tables and the low machine like him. I bring in all my tired weather. All the way the day has worn, and leave with something lighter than the clothes I'm carrying home. A woman reads beside the wall. A student yawns into his sleeve. The owner wipes the metal lids and says the storm was hard this week. A dryer ends with two soft tones. Someone shakes a blanket flat, and even that plain snapping sound feels like a sign life can come back. I used to think repair meant drama, a speech, a break, a bright new start. But maybe it's this warm white room and order working through the dark. Here in the glow of this small backstreet room, the world feels manageable again. Socks and coins and folding tables and the low machine like him. I bring in all my tired weather. All the way the day has worn, and leave with something lighter than the clothes I'm carrying home. Spin out the noise, spin out the ache, spin out the heaviness I keep. Fold me into calmer lines, give my restless mind some peace. Not perfect, only cleaner. Not change, just easier to hold. A little less storm in the fabric, a little more warmth in the fold. So I stay till every cycle ends, till the room grows thin and late, and carry softness down the alley like a promise after rain, with detergent on my hands and a steadier pulse inside. Learning how the smallest rituals can turn the night kind. Rain has already moved along, but drops still fall from the canvas edge. You stand with damp hair by the curb, laughing at something I just said. The street behind us blurs in gold, cars passing slow, then thinning out. Neither one of us steps forward, as if leaving might say too much. The weather gave us extra minutes, a narrow roof, a borrowed stay, and now the air between our words feels warmer than the day. So we keep speaking soft and sideways about the small and easy things, half-finished songs, cheap coffee cups, the shape the night around us brings. But underneath the simple talk, there's something neither of us names, a closeness hanging in the cool like light along the puddled lane. Your sleeve is dark where rain had touched. My hands are full of nothing now. The shop behind us flips its sign, yet somehow neither turns around. The train goes over somewhere near. The metal echo fades to blue. You ask what route I take back home. I hear the care before the words do. And suddenly the little pause after your question grows so bright. I answer more softly than I meant, like the dark might overhear tonight. So we keep speaking soft and sideways about the small and easy things. Half-finished songs, cheap coffee cups, the shape the night around us brings. But underneath the simple talk, there's something neither of us names. A closeness hanging in the cool like light along the puddled lane. Maybe some beginnings never announce themselves. No fireworks, no reckless sign. Just two people under shelter, lingering past a reasonable time. Just the city giving cover to a feeling not yet bold, and a quiet kind of daring, and not rushing from the cold. So when we finally start to move, the night feels altered where we stand. Not because the sky turned brighter, but because your hand brushed my hand, and neither one of us looked down. We just kept walking, measured pace, with the last drops falling from the roof, and a new warmth in the place. Pages waiting without judgment. A pen lies quiet near the seam. The windows crack just wide enough to let the cooler midnight in. Curtains stir above the desk. Street sound filters thin and far. A motor fades, a bottle rolls, then nothing but a distant car. I came here trying to make meaning from the clutter in my head, but the open air and paper grain want gentler things instead. So I write what I can carry, not the whole storm, only parts. A line about the damp night breeze, a line about my stubborn heart, a line about how some days end without a victory or a loss. Just a lamp, a chair, a window, and enough calm to pause. The notebook fills in slanted ink with thoughts too plain to call profound. Still they land with certain weight because they finally made a sound. I write about the cooling roofs, the silver wires, the alley trees, how late spring always feels divided, warm by day, by night, a breeze. And maybe I don't need a masterpiece. Maybe truth looks rough at first. Maybe honesty is simply giving shape to what still hurts. So I write what I can carry, not the whole storm, only parts. A line about the damp night breeze, a line about my stubborn heart, a line about how some days end without a victory or a loss. Just a lamp, a chair, a window, and enough calm to pause. What if clarity is hand not found, not dropped from somewhere high? What if it comes from staying present with the page and passing sky? From hearing leaves against the ledge, from letting silence have its turn, from trusting thought to settle slowly, like a low impatient burn. So I'll leave some space between the lines for what tomorrow might reveal. But tonight this room is honest, and the quiet almost heals. The page is no grand answer, still it holds me where I am, open to the cooling midnight, pen in hand and less condemned. Red streaks slide across the road, from cabs that cut the avenue. The asphalt holds them for a breath, then lets the color travel through. A siren somewhere far enough to sound more like a memory. The median trees are dark and still, while engines sketch the city free. Everything is moving gently, even when the lights burn fast. And I am only watching, trying not to hold the past too hard. Let the street keep flowing under all this borrowed ruby fire. Let the night drive through my chest and quiet what the day required. I don't need to chase a destination, I just need the rhythm of the lane, the way the headlights break with rain and pull me loose from strain. The driver smokes beside his door, a meter glows in patient blue. The radio in the front seat leaks a chorus, old but good and true. I walk beside the turning curb, hands in pockets breathing deep. The city feels most merciful when half of it is nearly asleep. There's peace in being unimportant to the traffic and the signs. A small body beside a wet road, letting motion clear the mind. Let the street keep flowing under all this borrowed ruby fire. Let the night drive through my chest and quiet what the day required. I don't need to chase a destination, I just need the rhythm of the lane, the way the headlights braid with rain and pull me loose from strain. Passing mirrors, no answer in the painted lines. Still I feel the burden lifting, one red shimmer at a time, as if the road keeps taking what I can't keep carrying through, and sends it somewhere past the overpass into the dark beyond my view. So I stand and watch the taillights right there, brief and glowing script on a street that does not keep them, yet is changed by every drift. Late spring, cool against my collar, calm returning through the frame, and the city moving kindly without ever knowing my name. Tiny paws on mirrored black tail held high like weather means nothing. A striped blur between the bins, crossing where the street is shining. It pauses by a falling cup, then springs across the watery seam, as if the whole damp midnight block were made exactly for this scene. I can't help but laugh a little at the confidence it keeps. How a small and soaked creature can make the whole road feel less bleak. There you go, light on your feet, through the silver, through the glow. Not asking for the world to change, just finding your own way to go. And somehow from the curb I learned something simple, something true, that even in a tired night, a pulse of play can make it through. Its shadow splits in orange light, then gathers up beneath the gate. A bell from somewhere deeper in rings once and falls away too late. The puddles ripple where it stepped and turn to mirrors once again. But I'm no longer standing in the same kind of head I wasn't then. It's funny what can shift a mood, not a speech, not grand design, just seeing life move lightly across a damp and empty line. There you go, light on your feet, through the silver, through the glow. Not asking for the world to change, just finding your own way to go. And somehow from the curb I learned something simple, something true, that even in a tired night, a pulse of play can make it through. There are nights that feel too serious, like every thought wears too much weight. Then a soft surprise goes passing and unlatches all the gates. A bright-eyed blur, a quick decision, a splash, a leap, a vanishing tale, enough to tell the heavier heart not every hour has to fail. So I walk on smiling to myself, past the bins and painted doors. The same street, same damp concrete, but gentler now than just before. Sometimes grace is quick and whiskered, sometimes joy is half in view, and still it leaves the darkened road a little more alive for you. A machine hums near the stairs, casting cobalt on the wall. Rows of cans behind clear glass, like little planets standing still. I press my palm against the side for no real reason but the cold, and watch my shadow turn electric in the light it seems to hold. There's loneliness here, yes, but it isn't cruel tonight. It sits beside me quietly inside this blue and silver light. I know this feeling, thin and tender, half ache, half ease, half stay and put. The kind of night that doesn't break you, just opens something that was shut. And in this corner by the humming glow, I let the missing be what it is. Not a wound to solve immediately, just a quiet place I live. Coins slide down with a hollow ring. A warm can drops into my hand. Across the lot, a stairwell lamp draws a square no one has claimed. The air is cool along my neck, but not enough still they pour their little mercy out for whoever comes. I know this feeling, thin and tender, half fake, half ease, half stay and put. The kind of night that doesn't break you, just open something that was shut. And in this corner by the humming glow, I let the missing be what it is. Not a wound to solve immediately, just a quiet place I live. I don't need the dark to feed it, I just need it touched a bit by a color cool as distance, yet gentle enough to sit with it. A narrow beam against the railing, a buzz beneath the midnight air, proof that even lonely hours can still be carefully lit somewhere. So I drink slowly by the landing, watching pale moths circle near, and feel the sharpness in my chest lose a little of its edge here. No miracle in metal casing, still it keeps the night from closing in. A blue light in a small concrete space, and the softness it lets in. What it takes from the legend time to a city mostly gone to hush. The rooftops hold a cooling glow where clouds move thin and restless. Antennas draw their crooked lines across a sky gone charcoal clear. And the breeze that comes after midnight is cool enough to make you hear. I came up here to empty out, to let the closed rooms fall behind. And now the wind is combing through the knots I couldn't untie inside. Up here everything gets lighter, not happier, just less confined. The air goes through me like a question I no longer have to answer right away. A drifting kind of peace arise with the water and the wires, and I let the city breathe below while my thoughts lose their fire. A towel hangs from someone's line, the final drop falls from a pipe. A train beyond the river bends, then fades to one small silver stripe. My sleeves lift slightly at the wrists. The late spring cold is almost sweet, not winter hard, not summer soft, just enough to feel complete. I think some moods belong to rooftops, to open dark and higher sound, to being far above the traffic, but still inside the same old town. Up here everything gets lighter, not happier, just less confined. The air goes through me like a question I no longer have to answer right away. A drifting kind of peace arrives with the water and the wires, and I let the city breathe below while my thoughts lose their fire. What if I stopped demanding shape from every feeling that appears? What if I let them move like clouds and leave the sky more clear? What if healing is this rooftop, this quiet wind across the skin, this knowing I can hold the world without letting all of it in. So I stay till the drops grow sparse and the breeze turns cleaner, thin and wide. The buildings dim, the night grows deep, and something deep in neon ties. No grand turning, no confession, just air and height and calmer sight, and a city spread beneath me like a thought made kind tonight. Is nearly finished now. Shop's gone dark in measured rows. A route number glows from far away, then vanishes where no one knows. My hands are tucked inside my cuffs, still carrying the heat I have from walking longer than I meant to. From the day I'm finally past, there is a tiredness that hurts and one that feels almost like peace. Tonight is leaning toward the second, as the block grows still beneath my feet. I'm waiting with the softest kind of emptiness, not hollow, just released. Like all the noise that crowded in has finally thinned enough to breathe. If the ride takes time, let it take time. I've been rushing far too long. The night is cool, my sleeves are warm, and for once that feels enough. The bench reflects the street lamp pale. A flyer trembles on the glass. Somebody's dinner smell from upstairs follows the colder air that passes. I think about the rooms I'll enter, shoes by the door, lamp by the bed. How good it is that ordinary things still wait for me ahead. I used to need excitement to prove the hours meant something true. Now I trust a smaller ending, a ride home and a steadier view. I'm waiting with the softest kind of emptiness, not hollow, just released. Like all the noise that crowded in has finally thinned enough to breathe. If the ride takes time, let it take time. I've been rushing far too long. The night is cool, my sleeves are warm, and for once that feels enough. Maybe comfort is anticipation of a quiet room, you know. Maybe peace is seeing headlights at the edge of the road below. Maybe being held together looks like fabric at the wrist, and a late bus coming slowly through a city made of mist. So I watch the distant window glow get larger in the lane, and feel no panic in the waiting, only patience after strain. Late spring breath against my cheekbones, warm still gathered in my clothes, and a small safe ride approaching through the dimness of the road. Concrete steps between two walls shine where water hasn't dried. A single lamp above the landing draws long shadows down the side. The rail is cold beneath my hand. The houses sleep behind thin doors, and every careful upward step echoes more than it should. This kind of place asks you to listen to your breathing, to your pace, to the thoughts that follow closely in the thin and vertical space. I climb through all these quiet angles, past the damp and fading light, feeling every private question rise with me into the night. No one sees me on these stairs, no applause, no witness there, just the lamp, the walls, the cooling air, and what I'm learning to bear. A flower pot tipped near the top holds rainwater and two leaves. A curtain moves in one dark room, then settles back and disappears. The city's larger roads keep singing somewhere low and far away, but here the block feels folded inward like a thought you cannot say. And maybe that is why I needed this narrow climb, this smaller sound, a place where I can feel the weight without being swallowed by the town. I climb through all these quiet angles, past the damp and fading light, feeling every private question rise with me into the night. No one sees me on these stairs, no applause, no witness there, just the lamp, the walls, the cooling air, and what I'm learning to bear. Some roads are meant for speeding through, some are meant to make you slow. Some reflections need a stairwell and a single bulb to show what stays with you when all distraction falls below and fades from sight. What remains when you are only a shadow moving through the light. So I reach the last small landing, pause before the final door. The same self but less divided than the one that climbed before. Late spring damp in the concrete, quiet gathered in my chest, and a lamp above a stairway, teaching heaviness to rest. The lines above the alley gleam with the last beads of weather there. A breeze moves through and loosens them till they fall clear through the air. Somewhere clouds are pulling east, the sky turns thinner near the edge, and all the roofs begin to breathe like a promise underfed, now fed. You can feel the night changing, not suddenly, not all at once, just enough to hear a difference in the way the silence runs. It's lifting now, the weight is lifting from the cables, from the leaves, from the corners of my thinking, where the darker water sleeps. Not gone forever, maybe never, still the air is opening through, and I can feel the whole block clearing, one small shining drop at a time. motor starts and then moves off. A balcony door clicks shut. The smell of wet earth turns to cool stone as the deeper damp gives up. I look up more than I look down. For once the ground can wait for me, because the sky above the rooftops has started offering release. I didn't know how much I needed the simple sound of letting go, till I heard the final water leave the darkened overhead. It's lifting now, the weight is lifting from the cables, from the leaves, from the corners of my thinking, where the darker water sleeps. Not gone forever, maybe never, still the air is opening through, and I can feel the whole block clearing, one small shining drop at a time. Some changes are almost invisible until your lungs begin to know, until your jaw unclenches slightly, until your pace turns soft and slow. Not every ending needs a witness, not every burden leaves with sound. Sometimes release is only water, no longer hanging all around. So let the words return to silence, let the breeze move clean and thin, let the night become more spacious than the one I entered in. Light sprinkled along the rooftops, a gentler dark, a clearer view, and all the little held back weather finally passing through. Before the shops can wake their signs, a pale blue gathers at the drains. The alley loses some of its secrets as the first light touches stone. Milk crates by the back door glisten, a sparrow lands on a metal rail. The night is not fully gone yet, but you can hear it start to fail. This hour never asks permission, it simply comes and takes the dark apart, softly enough not to alarm you, firmly enough to change the heart. Morning reaches even here, into the narrowest, quietest places, over damp brick, over cooling roofs, across the lines on sleeping faces. And I feel something in me loosen at the color of the air, not because all pain is over, but because a new light got there. A delivery truck beyond the block rattles up the waking street. A woman waters potted herbs, still wearing yesterday on her feet. The windows hold a softer shade than any lamp could ever make, and every puddle left from night now carries pieces of the day. I walked so long beside the dark, I almost thought it on the road. But dawn has other quiet plans for every burden I still hold. Morning reaches even here, into the narrowest, quietest places, over damp brick, over cooling roofs, across the lines on sleeping faces. And I feel something in me loosen at the color of the air, not because all pain is over, but because a new light got there. Loud enough to drown the echoes of the night. Sometimes it is this pearled horizon taking shape before your eyes. A clean breath near a service door, a bird on wire, a paling wall, enough to tell the tired body, it can begin again at all. So I stay to watch the alley bright until the blue turns almost gold, and the last cool edge of midnight lets the day take hold. Late spring morning, thin and honest, touching everything in view, and making even this small back street feel washed and born anew. Shoes by the door, damp at the sole, keys in the bowl with a gentle sound. The room is still from being empty, then fills the second I sit down. A lamp beside the bed comes on, soft against the cooling wall. The walk is over, but the weather still lingers lightly in it all. I used to bring the whole outside straight into my chest at night. Now I'm learning how to set it down with my jacket in the light. Home can be a quiet ending, not a finish, not a cure. Just a chair, a lamp, dry socks, and a feeling less unsure. The city stays beyond the window, the roads keep all they need to keep, and I can let this small warm room carry me toward sleep. I make tea and hear it settle in the cup like slowing rain. Steam curls up into the shade and disappears without a strain. The mirror by the shelf reflects a face more open than before, not happier in any dazzling way, just gentler than at war. Maybe peace is not outside or in, but in the crossing of the two. A damp night folded into lamplight, and a self coming home to you. Home can be a quiet ending, not a finish, not a cure. Just a chair, a lamp, dry socks, and a feeling less unsure. The city stays beyond the window, the roads keep all they need to keep, and I can let this small warm room carry me toward sleep. All the signs, the wires, the stairways, all the puddles, all the glow, they followed me back in fragments, but they feel softer now, I know. The world is not less real in here, it's just arranged in kinder lines. A bedside shadow, a cooling cup, and the mercy of unwind. So I dim the lamp a little, leave the curtain slightly wide, let the late spring air come through, and the final thoughts subside. No title spoken, no grand closing, just breath and rest and quiet heat after the long wet road outside. This little room feels complete.